Hey there and welcome back. Ready to dive into the world of weekend writing gigs? You know those ones that promise to pay like $1,000 or more?
Oh, yeah, those are intriguing.
You bet they are. You sent over a bunch of articles about it, even some excerpts from AWAI training.
AWAI. Cool. Yeah, let's see if these five-figure weekend writing gigs are legit or just hype.
Right. Hyper hope. And this AWAI article jumps right in. 5 writing projects that pay $1,000 or more and can be completed in just one weekend.
Wow, bold claim.
It is. So first up, case studies. Our business is really clamoring for case studies,
Huh?
especially B2B.
Well, think about it this way. Content marketing is huge for B2B, right?
Totally.
And a good case study builds trust like nothing else. Remember that one writer? So they did 40 case studies in a single year just for AWAI.
40. That's a lot of case studies.
Ah.
Okay, what about e-newsletters? Are those still a thing? They seem kind of old school.
Don't underestimate the power of a good e-newsletter. Even with all the digital marketing trends, businesses still want that direct line to their audience,
Makes sense.
A well-crafted e-newsletter, it can be pure gold. One writer even said their most profitable gig ever, their longest-running gig, was e-newsletters for a single client for 5 years.
5 years, just newsletters.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, it's the last one. Sales funnels. Sounds a little intimidating. Is that even learnable in a weekend?
Well, building a whole sales funnel, that's a process. It's not like a one-and-done thing. But the potential payout reflects that. You're basically designing a whole customer journey, from the first hello all the way to the sale.
So less about knocking something out in a weekend and more about setting up a system that can make money over time.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool part, it's not just write it and forget it. You write the copy, but then you get to analyze results, tweak things, optimize. There's potential for ongoing work there.
I like that. Ongoing work is good. Okay, we've been saying AWAI Method. What is that exactly? Is that their secret sauce for these weekend gigs?
So AWAI, that's American Writers and Artists, Inc. They're like a big deal in the copywriting world, especially for beginners. They've got courses and resources for everything. And their method, it's about writing copy that doesn't just sound good. It converts readers into buyers, gets them to take action.
Convert readers into buyers. Sounds kind of powerful. What sort of techniques do they teach?
Well, one of their big ones is the USP, unique selling proposition. Heard of that?
I feel like I have, but remind me. Some of those marketing terms, they all blur together.
No worries. Basically, you find that one irresistible thing that makes a product or service stand out. Not just what it is, what problem it solves. They use the example of the Fisher Space Pen, the pen that writes upside down.
Right.
That's their USB. It's unique, it solves a problem, it makes you want one.
That's brilliant marketing. They also mentioned tapping into emotions,
Yeah.
like beyond just fear and greed, which honestly seems like what a lot of ads go for.
Right. But think about it. Curiosity, vanity, benevolence, even insecurity, those are powerful motivators. And AWAI stresses that really understanding what motivates your audience, that's key. They had this whole case study on raising funds for Covenant House. They tapped into benevolence to connect with donors.
See, and that's the kind of stuff that makes copywriting exciting for me. It's not just about selling. It's about connecting with people.
Speaking of connecting, one thing that stuck out from all these articles is this focus on clarity. No one wants to read something that sounds like a robot wrote it.
Right.
Clear writing, it's like a breath of fresh air. It just makes you want to keep reading.
Totally. And it's not just about sounding good. It's about getting the message across. They even have a name for it, the golden thread.
Okay, I've heard that before. But sometimes those writing terms, they kind of go in one ear and out the other. What's a golden thread in plain English?
It's that one powerful, emotionally charged idea that runs through your whole piece, from the headline all the way to the call to action at the end. It's what makes your copy stick with the reader. So it's like the central nervous system of your writing. Everything connects back to it. I like that. But doesn't it get repetitive? How do you keep mentioning the same thing without sounding like a broken record?
That's the art of copywriting. It's about subtly weaving it in, using different angles, different stories, different emotions even. Like in that sales letter you shared about the peanut brittle.
Oh, yeah. The one with all the testimonials.
Exactly. They wove that promise that this is the best peanut brittle ever throughout the entire letter, describing the crunch, the sweet and salty balance, all tying back to that one idea.
See, that's what I love about a good case study. You get to see the theory in action. And speaking of taking action, there was something else. They mentioned breaking grammar rules. Is that a real thing or did I misunderstand?
Nope, you read that right. You need a good grasp of grammar, obviously. But sometimes bending the rules can actually make your writing more effective.
Okay, now this is getting interesting. How does that work? My English teachers would be horrified.
Well, think about how we actually talk. It's not always perfectly grammatical, is it? We use pauses, sentence fragments.
Ellipses. I love a good ellipsis.
Exactly. And done right, it makes your writing more authentic, more human, like you're having a conversation with the reader.
You're whispering a secret to them. Okay, I'm starting to get it. Now, there was a ton of info on different types of leads. Can we unpack that a bit?
Sure. So AWAI, they break them down into three main categories: promise leads, problem solution leads, and story leads. Each one grabs the reader's attention in a different way.
Okay, so what's the difference? And more importantly, when would you use one over the other?
So promise leads are pretty straightforward. You promise the reader something valuable if they keep reading. Remember that classic Dale Carnegie ad for how to win friends and influence people? That's a promise lead. Clear, bold, makes you want to know more.
Straight to the point. What about problem solution leads? I feel like I see those everywhere.
You probably do. They start by highlighting a problem the reader has and then present the product or service as the solution. Think, are you tired of or do you suffer from?
Oh yeah, those definitely grab your attention, hit you where it hurts in a good way. And what about story leads? Those sound intriguing.
Story leads are all about drawing the reader in with a compelling narrative. It could be a personal story, a case study, even a fictional scenario, something that resonates with the reader.
Right. Like that one example from those AWAI modules you sent. It was about, what was it? A veterinarian.
You're thinking of the ultimate benefit example. That was a good one.
Yes, that's it. See, those writing terms are starting to stick. But remind me about the example. What were the specifics?
So they were talking about this company that makes vet equipment, right? And they had this new blood analyzer that could get results in like 7 seconds.
Wow, 7 seconds. That's amazing. But how do you go from a feature like that to a compelling story that sells?
By asking, so what? They realized the benefit wasn't just speed. It was about giving vets the power to diagnose tricky cases faster, potentially save more lives. That's a story that resonates on a whole other level.
Now that is powerful. I hadn't thought about it like that, but it makes sense. Features are cool, but it's the benefit, the emotional benefit, that really sells.
Exactly. You're tapping into those deeper motivations, those core values that drive decisions.
This is all making so much more sense now. I'm even more curious about those AWAI modules you mentioned. What other gems are hidden in there? So besides this whole ultimate benefit idea, what else stood out to you from the AWAI stuff?
One thing they really emphasize is the idea of a universal writing market. Like, because of digital marketing, there's a huge demand for people who can write well, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, everything's online now.
Exactly. Businesses need websites, blog posts, product descriptions, social media updates. I mean, the list goes on and on.
It's almost overwhelming, all those possibilities. Where do you even start?
That's what I like about systems like AWAI. They break it down into manageable steps. So instead of feeling lost in a sea of writing gigs, you can focus, you know?
Find your niche.
Exactly. Find your zone of genius. Maybe it's a specific type of writing you love, or a specific industry, or even just a specific type of client you click with.
Okay, so less about being a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
More about mastering one. I like it.
Yeah.
But let's get to the heart of it. Can you really make a living from this? Or is that just a fantasy?
The million-dollar question, right? Look, there are no guarantees with any kind of freelance work. Takes hustle, dedication, all that.
For sure.
But what we're seeing in these articles, these writer testimonials, is that it's definitely possible. Like, people are doing it.
So not just a pipe dream.
Not at all. Real people making real money. There was that one writer who said they quit their corporate job after just 6 months of doing this on the side.
Wow.
It's inspiring, right? It shows that with the right skills and a bit of grit, this whole 5-figure weekend writing gig thing, it's within reach.
Love to hear that. It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Right. Got to believe in yourself and the possibilities.
Exactly. And that's what these deep dives are all about, right? Equipping ourselves with knowledge, exploring, seeing where the path leads. So for anyone listening who's feeling that spark, that nudge to explore copywriting, what would you tell them? What's the one thing they should take away from all this?
I'd say this. You already have unique skills and experiences that are valuable. The key is figuring out how to leverage them in this world of words. It's about understanding people, what makes them tick, their motivations, their desires.
It's funny you say that. I was reading one of the AWI modules, and they talked about how Being able to explain complex topics in a clear, concise way is a highly sought-after skill. Made me think of you.
Oh, how so?
Well, how often do people tell you you'd make a great teacher because you explain things so well? You have a knack for taking complex ideas and making them accessible.
Well, now that you mention it, I do get that a lot, but you have a point. That ability to synthesize information, identify those key takeaways, communicate them clearly, it's valuable in any field, not just writing.
Exactly. So if you're out there listening and this world of writing, of crafting compelling copy, if it speaks to you, don't underestimate yourself. This could be that sign you've been waiting for. Take the leap, explore the resources, and who knows, maybe we'll be featuring your copywriting success story on a future deep dive.